Alcatraz Island. The very name evokes a sense of mystery, danger, and intrigue. Today the island stands in stark contrast to its notorious past. Ferries bring a constant stream of tourists, eager to experience the chilling history of the former prison. Visitors wander through the decaying cell blocks, imagining the lives of the infamous criminals once held within those walls. The silence is broken only by the cry of gulls and the hushed whispers of tourists. Alcatraz, once a symbol of fear, is now a place of reflection, a stark reminder of a darker chapter in American history. On May 4, 2025, President Trump sent shockwaves through the nation with a single post on Truth Social. His plan? To reopen and expand Alcatraz Island as a federal penitentiary. No longer a decaying relic of the past, Alcatraz would once again house America's most ruthless and violent offenders. The announcement, met with a mixture of disbelief and cautious support, signaled a potential shift in the American penal system. Trump, known for his tough-on-crime stance, saw Alcatraz as the perfect symbol of law and order, a place where the most hardened criminals would face the full weight of justice. Alcatraz has borne witness to over a century of American history. Before its infamous stint as a federal penitentiary, the island served as a military fortification and a military prison. But it was during its time as a maximum security prison, from 1934 to 1963, that Alcatraz truly earned its chilling reputation. The prison housed some of the most notorious criminals in American history, including Al Capone, George Machine Gun Kelly, and Robert Stroud, the Birdman of Alcatraz. Stories of brutal conditions, solitary confinement, and daring escape attempts cemented Alcan folklore. Trump's plan was met with swift and vocal opposition from California politicians. State Senator Scott Wiener, a longtime critic of mass incarceration, called the proposal absurd and impractical. Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi echoed these sentiments, labeling it a distraction from real solutions to crime. San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie expressed concerns over the potential impact on tourism and the city's image. The message was clear. California would not stand idly by as Trump sought to resurrect a symbol of America's troubled past. Beyond the political outcry, the logistical challenges of reopening Alcatraz are immense. Decades of exposure to the harsh saltwater environment have taken a toll on the island's infrastructure. The buildings, once imposing symbols of American might, are now crumbling relics, riddled with cracks and weakened by time. The island's utility systems, from sewage to electricity, are woefully outdated and inadequate for a modern prison facility. The very fabric of Alcatraz seems to resist the idea of its revival, a testament to the power of time and decay. Section 6. A financial black hole. The astronomical costs of reopening. The financial implications of Trump's plan are equally daunting. Experts estimate that renovating Alcatraz to meet modern prison standards could cost upwards of $500 million, a staggering sum that could be better spent on rehabilitation programs and community-based initiatives. The island's remote location also poses logistical challenges, requiring costly transportation of supplies, staff, and inmates. The per-inmate cost at Alcatraz, even during its heyday, was exorbitantly high. Reopening the prison would be a financial albatross, draining resources from already strained state and federal budgets. Section 7. Whispers on the wind. Tourists react to Trump's proposal. The news of Alcatraz's potential revival has sparked a flurry of reaction from tourists visiting the island. Some express skepticism, viewing it as a political stunt, or a desperate attempt to revive a bygone era of law and order. Others, however, voice cautious support, particularly those who believe that the most dangerous criminals deserve to be isolated from society. Contemplation is now abuzz the implications of Trump's controversial proposal. Plan to reopen Alcatraz has ignited a national conversation about the future of justice in America. For some, it represents a return to a simpler time, a time when criminals face swift and certain punishment. For others, it is a step backward, a retreat to a dark chapter in American history that should remain firmly in the past. As the debate rages on, one thing is certain: Trump's Alcatraz plan has exposed deep division in society, divisions that will not be easily reconciled.
The state and local tax, or SALT deduction, has become a surprising flashpoint in American politics. This once obscure provision of the tax code, allowing taxpayers to deduct state and local taxes from their federal income, has ignited a fiery debate within the Republican Party. At the heart of the matter lies a fundamental question: who benefits from tax cuts and at what cost? The SALT deduction has long been a boon for residents of high-tax states, predominantly Democratic strongholds like New York and California. However, the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, championed by then-President Donald Trump, capped the deduction at $10,000. This move, while touted as a way to simplify the tax code and fund other tax cuts, disproportionately impacted taxpayers in these high-tax states. Fast forward to 2025, and the SALT deduction cap has re-emerged as a political hot potato. With Republicans seeking to extend the 2017 tax cuts, pressure is mounting from within their ranks to address the SALT deduction cap. The debate has exposed deep divisions within the GOP, pitting fiscal conservatives against those representing constituents hardest hit by the cap. The current $10,000 cap on SALT deductions has become a symbol of the ongoing debate over tax fairness and regional disparities. For taxpayers in low-tax states, the cap has had a negligible impact. However, for those in high-tax states where property taxes alone can easily exceed $10,000, the cap has resulted in higher federal tax bills. The impact of the cap is particularly acute in areas with high property values, such as the suburbs of New York City and the San Francisco Bay Area. Many middle-class families in these regions, who are already grappling with the high cost of living, have seen their federal tax burden increase as a result of the cap. The $10,000 cap has also had unintended consequences for the real estate market in high-tax areas. Some homeowners have found it more difficult to sell their homes, as potential buyers are deterred by the higher tax burden. This has led to concerns about declining property values and a slowdown in the real estate market. Within the Republican Party, the SALT deduction cap has become a major point of contention. The GOP finds itself torn between its commitment to fiscal responsibility and the demands of its members representing districts heavily impacted by the cap. This internal struggle has played out in public, with lawmakers engaging in heated debates and strategic maneuvering. On one side of the aisle are lawmakers like Representatives Mike Lawler, Andrew Garbarino, Nick LaLota, and Young Kim, all hailing from high-tax states. They argue that the $10,000 cap unfairly burdens their constituents and advocate for its complete elimination. They argue that any attempt to impose an income cap would only serve to further disadvantage their constituents. On the other side of the debate are fiscal hawks within the GOP who view any increase in the SALT deduction cap with skepticism. They argue that raising the cap would primarily benefit wealthy taxpayers and would come